Welcome back to another day in the life. Today we're on site with one of our largest and newest customers. It is 3 buildings that are about 500,000 square feet each, and today we're trying to tackle something that we've never done before, which is snow clearing from the roof of one of these buildings, and it's like negative 30-degree temperature right now. So we're going to try to tackle that today. We're also going to have a couple client meetings, and we're going to be meeting a few of our suppliers where I'm going to go a little bit more in depth of what it takes to build the right relationships for your business that are going to take it to the next level, help you get projects like this, and really help you work with the right partners to take you to the next level. So follow along, it's going to be a crazy day. We're going to try to tackle this roof project and we'll see how it goes. One of the things that I really like to do is get a diversity of clients. So this site, what's unique about it is it's a full construction site. The buildings are just now being built. So it brings a little bit of complexity to what you're doing, but it also brings certain opportunities. So today, for example, they called us in to do a massive snow removal project on the roof. And this project is going to take probably 2 months to complete. This is just the first stage. So these are new opportunities and new opportunities for revenue in a place or on a project where you normally wouldn't get that. So today we're just on site. We're doing a bit of a walkthrough of the location as well, because they want us to do a few additional areas. And the other thing about these construction sites is they're a constantly evolving project, right? So you start with it in a certain condition, a certain space, and then as the project moves along, it's constantly evolving. They're adding new sections, new areas. So one thing to keep in mind when you're onboarding projects like this is you always want to quote with a certain margin, a certain gap where you can add extra as the project evolves. So typically when we quote a project like this, we're not providing a flat rate, we're providing a dedicated rate. So we'll have a team that is dedicated to the site for the entirety of the project. And as the project expands, that team can also grow and expand. So we're growing the size of the team instead of just trying to scramble and figure out how we can add extra resources. We're already anticipating that. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. But I love having this type of diversity of clients, because when these guys are open, when these guys are operational, when these guys need us, most of my other clients don't. They have a very specific and unique need, and we can meet that need because typically we are not then meeting the needs of our other clients. It helps us be more responsive, be better for them, and it also creates extra revenue opportunities, which in this game, when your overhead is fixed and you can get extra revenue, most of that is going straight to profit. So the team is behind me right now on the roof of that building, and we're in the process of doing this snow and ice clearing project on the membrane of the roof. So the client calls us because they need to continue working on the project, and the roof is the next step, even though it's the middle of January and it's all covered with snow and ice. For them, every single day that the project continues to take longer, it's cost them thousands of dollars of overhead. So it's a win-win. But what happens is they call us last minute. We need to respond within 24 to 48 hours, which we did. It was a last minute request. They knew they could call us, they could rely on us. We dropped everything and we made sure that we accommodate. So that's a win for the customer. Now, our team is on the roof and it's a project that they normally wouldn't do. It's outside of their scope. So the team that's on the project, they're getting paid extra to be here and be doing this work. So it's a win for the team. Now, for us, it's a win because we're able to charge in a different way for this project, because there's so many different moving parts and complexities. Instead of doing a flat rate, we decided to charge the customer by the hour. We charge a higher hourly rate for the team members, and we also charge a high hourly rate for a supervisor to be on site and make sure every single part of the project is going smoothly. So that win-win-win scenario is how you bring multiple parties together. So for us, it's a great result. We're able to charge extra. We're able to make a premium on this type of project for the customer. They're getting a solution, and they're really appreciative that we were able to solve this problem for them quickly. And for the team, it's extra work at a higher rate that they normally wouldn't get an opportunity to work on. Even though it is a challenge for all three parties, we figure out solutions and we create those win-win scenarios, and that's how you make a great relationship work. This was a last minute deal, and I fought really hard to get this client because when we onboarded them, we were already full. We weren't ready to bring on a client like this, but we were able to put together a dedicated team and make it happen. And you never want to say no to a client like this, where it's a relationship type of deal and it's a relationship type of sale, because if you say no, you stop being their guy and you're automatically going to be replaced with somebody else. So when they have a next project coming up, when now it is convenient for you and it is the right time for you, and you said no to this customer in the past, well, now they've already moved on to somebody else. So sometimes when the opportunity comes, you have to say yes, even though you're not ready, and even though you're not necessarily prepared at that moment, because once you get replaced, once you're no longer the relationship, no longer the quick phone call that they're going to make, you're going to be replaced by somebody else. And that's exactly what was going to happen with this project. So this was a deal that we had done 3 years ago with this client. We were doing another project for them. Every 2 to 3 years, typically a company that is involved in this type of large scale construction or any construction is going to have new projects, sometimes every year, sometimes every few months, sometimes every few years. So that's the perfect type of deal where we come in on a project, we say yes, you never know when they're going to call, but you kind of go for it, and then that that's the type of relationship that's going to be fruitful for years to come. So I think that the message here is say yes before you're ready, and try to take something on and deliver at the highest level when it's a relationship type of deal, because they know when they're calling you and they're requesting something like doing a massive project on a roof at the last minute, you need to deliver. They're not calling you because they want to make it convenient for you. They're calling you because they want you to be the guy when the situation is in a condition where nobody else is going to come in and solve it. You're the person. So I don't look for a perfect scenario where it's going to be the right deal for us. I look for a scenario where, how can this be a deal that nobody else is really going to say yes to, but we will, so we're always going to get the call. So that's how this deal happens. That's usually how these guys work. So we met with a few of our key suppliers last night, and we got a little carried away smoking cigars and talking shop. But that's all part of building those relationships. And I have 3 rules that for me are really the key to building those long-lasting relationships, whether it's a supplier or a really good customer that you want to connect with. And that is primarily to be human first, prioritize the relationship over the deal, and to look for win-win opportunities. So when you're talking to a supplier, it is a transaction at the end of the day, but you want to be human first. And that, I find has worked the best, where we're sitting down and we're just trying to get to know each other and really connect on a human to human level. And that typically leads to then prioritizing the relationship over the deal. Deals go south all the time. Issues happen, whether it's a deal with a client or a supplier, and you're on the other side of that equation. Things happen with deals. Customers aren't happy, issues come up, you get overcharged on an invoice. Instead of blowing up and having that negative reaction, I always typically try to put the relationship first. And when you're having that human to human connection, that's really what helps create that extra barrier and layer between yourself and that client, where you're able to solve the problem human to human, instead of having every single situation negatively affect that relationship, and then it trickles down to just having that very, very corporate relationship where no issues, no mistakes are allowed. So it gives you a little bit more leeway when you prioritize it. And that also means that if a deal does go south, then you still make sure that the relationship is more important, and you're giving that person, the leeway and the slack. And number 3, look for win-win opportunities. When we're dealing with suppliers, my prerogative isn't to squeeze them down to the last dollar. I know a lot of guys talk about cost cutting, but this is a relationship. They have to make money, so do we, and vice versa with my clients. I'm trying to look for a win-win. So, if a win is they can offer an additional service to us, we can buy more products from them, they can give us certain product knowledge where we can get something faster. Those are wins. It's not all just about price for me, right? So if we can win and they can win, that's more or less the scenario. I know in every single negotiation, you try to get the upper hand, but for me, when we're trying to build these types of relationships, the upper hand for me is creating a win and a win, and that mutual middle ground, right? So those are typically the three things that I look for. But the other side of that is what we did last night. When it comes down to building some of these relationships, you want to prioritize the time to put towards that relationship, which means yesterday, all we did was just sit down, smoke cigars, talk shop, relax, and connect on a human-to-human level. And that's sort of the foundation of making the relationship work. Thank you for watching. If you found the video helpful, help out the channel by leaving a like on the video and subscribing. And I want to hear about maybe a story that you have of a relationship that went south, or a relationship that you were able to save and it benefited your business in a positive way, because we have tons of those. Now, again, at the end of every video, usually I like to leave a positive motivational message for your team and for yourself. And my message this week is really to just get started. A lot of times we look at action as having the perfect plan. And if you have the perfect plan, then you're going to succeed in the perfect way, but that's just never the reality. If you want to get started on something, there is never going to be the perfect plan. And especially in this industry, in this business, as soon as you think you have a perfect plan, the industry has a totally separate thing planned for you. Your ability to actually start with possibly the worst plan or no plan at all is actually better, because then you're going to be more equipped to navigate this industry where everything is unpredictable and everything can go wrong, and typically does. Navigating on that type of ground is exactly what you need to get started, and I encourage you to do that today. Now, last thing on this topic of relationships, I did cover this concept in a couple of my previous videos, specifically on how you can utilize some of these relationships to land big commercial clients. I encourage you to check those out if you find that interesting. Thank you for watching.